Welcome back, model builders. Here's something a little bit different. This is a 143rd scale 289 Cobra kit released by Monogram back in 1990. It was a new tool at that time, and it has not been reissued since. I got this actually gifted to me by someone else, and had never seen this thing before, never heard of these Ultimates kits, and finally decided to take it on and build it. But it's very, very unusual, so we're going to go through a quick unbox here of everything. I already took everything out of the box for you, but this is what we got. It's molded in yellow, which is not something I would ever want to see, but that's what they did. Here's the body. The body's about 3 inches long. It's not bad. It's got the vents in the side there. You get windshield, you get the side wing windows, which are really going to be tiny, and headlamp lenses. Here's your chrome tree, which has your bumpers and the usual things on there. Looks like the wheel rims, maybe, and the backers, which are silver. You get the tires, which are just basically nondescript. They do have, I think they have Goodyear on them. Yeah, they're Goodyears. Here's your engine and other body parts as a tub. Independent rear suspension. One-piece engine and transmission in 2 halves. Exhaust. Radiator. There's the hood or the bonnet. Firewall with some detail on it. And a dashboard. And then the final tree, there's the chassis. Which has some extra lugs there you have to cut off. Seats, which are actually kind of nice. More engine parts, and a little tiny shifter. But the real reason to get this kit, which makes it unique, is these photo-etched metal parts. And that's your wire wheels, instrument panel, grill, and a couple other teeny tiny little parts, which I think are like maybe the trunk lid handle and side emblems. I don't even know what some of this stuff is. I haven't even looked that far. So that's going to be something new to deal with. Never worked with photo etched metal parts. It has Model Technologies on here along with Monogram. I don't know if that's a separate company that they partnered with or what. You'd also get decals, competition stripes and numbers, along with some smaller detailed decals. I think that's for the dashboard, because the dash should be like a padded black. But the kit doesn't come with a roll bar, so I don't know really how you'd make a competition model without at least a single hooper roll bar in there. But those look good. They're still in good condition from being in the box since 1990. And of course the instructions. So we're going to take this on. I'm going to use some paints that I have, some colors that I have kind of left over for some other projects, because this thing obviously isn't going to require a whole lot of paint. And bring you back after I've done some work. Stay tuned. And we're finished. Here is the Ultimates 289 Cobra from Monogram in 143rd scale. Having done a little homework on these Ultimates kits, I come to find out that there's only 2 of them that were actually ever made. It's this kit for the Cobra and a 67 Corvette Roadster, which also looks pretty nice. And I'm not surprised that these bombed after having built this one. And it's nothing to say that the kit's bad in any way, but it is not for the beginner. Let's just say that at the outset. So I'm not sure how this is going to work with the camera because this car is so small, but I'll do my best with it. And we're also going to look at it under the magnifying glass so you can see some of the detail. But here is the finished product. my version of the 289 Cobra. This was originally going to be a metallic blue with a red interior, but our friends at Testers with their wonderful spray paint left me down on that. So I went ahead and sprayed this white because I had it, and I think it came out really nice. I like the white with the red interior. It's a nice look. So let's give you a quick twirl here on this guy so you can take a look at it. And of course we'll look at the engine and the undercarriage and all that here shortly. But it comes out pretty nice. The hood gap there is probably worse on the camera than what it is in reality, but I also may not have it on completely right. And that's about the fit of it. So, what do we think about this thing? Well, the Ultimates kits, the big selling point on them, of course, was the photo etched metal parts. And I have a love and hate relationship with them, and I'll explain why. The grill, beautiful, looks fabulous. The wire wheels, tremendous. And it was pointed out to me as I was building this by someone else that the knockoffs are actually directional. There's two for each side. So I had to make sure I put those on the right side. The dash and steering wheel are also photo etched metal parts. Well, just the spokes on the steering wheel. The rim's a plastic piece. And those are all fabulous and worthwhile, and I'm glad they made them. They went and did some of the other things, photo etched metal, and some are worthy, some are kind of ridiculous. The wiper blades are more photo etched metal parts, as are these hood latches. And the hood latches and the front and rear emblem are kind of absurd to make in photo etch because they're so tiny. I mean, you really can't see the detail. There's a side emblem. Camera doesn't focus on it real well, but the details on them are, you know, I mean, they're so tiny. You really can't get anything out of them. The trunk lid handle is photo etch part. So they're, to me, not worth the headache of working with them to install them. Because they're really small parts, very easy to lose, very easy to drop. And so I don't know that, I mean, they look nice on their own, on the car now, but they're very fiddly, and I don't think they were worth doing. The grill and stuff, yeah, absolutely. That definitely makes a difference. Now you're going to wonder about these wire wheels. They are actually not hard at all to put together. There's two pieces. The backing piece has most of the spokes in it. You don't have to do anything to those. And then there's an outer piece that you have to bend into kind of like a cone shape to make the offset of the wheel look correct. And then the spinner gets glued on top of all that. The wheels, I put them all together. I did not glue anything except the knockoff to the centers. Everything else is just press fit together. And it works very well. The chrome backers kind of give you the idea of a disc brake. So very nice. So no complaints there. Let's do the engine next. So pardon me while I pause. Okay, hood off, and we're going to go to magnifying glass mode, try to show you the detail there. You can see with me holding it here just how small this kit really is. Alright, so we're going to come in here to my heavy-duty magnifying glass. The engine detail, it's not bad. It's 1/43, so you're gonna be struggling a little bit to make a lot of detail on something this small, but the engine's not bad. The carburetor is molded to the intake, the distributor is molded to the intake. There is an upper radiator hose but no lower hose, and for some reason there are no belts, which I find curious. The alternator and bracket is probably the one part that I felt did not fit properly. There really isn't a clear-cut mount for it, and it just kind of has to go in there wedged in somehow. Radiator, okay, not bad. No fans. There is an overflow tank or expansion tank, and the firewall detail is actually pretty decent. So no complaints there. Looking at the interior, as we did before, you can see the dash, which is the photo etched metal panel. There are no gauges or decals for the gauges, excuse me. The shifter is a plastic part. The seats are separate. The rest of the interior is basically a pan and a dashboard, and that's it. And we're going to go underneath. And up to magnification mode. The suspension is basically two pieces, two moldings, and it's pretty decent. Unfortunately, with painting it kind of like the factory would have, you lose some of the detail with all the black. But the differential is separate, and the steering rack in the front is separate. The transmission, I believe, is part of the engine, if I remember right. And there's a very tiny drive shaft in there that comes with the transmission. It's molded together. Exhaust system is 4 pieces, 2 headers and 2 muffler tailpipes. And the spare tire well is actually integral with the floor pan in the back there. So the chassis, the black chassis frame rails and all of that, along with the spare wheel or whatever it is compartment, that's all molded together. And then the silver here in the center, that is the interior pan underside. And then the front, the aluminum panels there, those are actually molded to the frame section. So you have to do some painting back and forth between silver and black or whatever colors you're going to use. There is the logo cast in the floor pan, which I missed taking that out. I thought that was going to be covered, so that was my fault. Some of the pieces that came in the kit were chromed. I took the chrome off, and the oil pan was one of them. I think I did the valve covers as well because they should be alloy, not chrome. So I think that was pretty much it. So that's your details on underside and top side. And it went together extraordinarily well. Everything fit really good on this except for that dopey alternator. The frame and chassis pretty much just snaps into the body. I did not use any glue whatsoever to hold the interior chassis and body together. It's a snap fit and it fits perfectly. My only proportional complaint on the kit would be that the wheels don't quite fit the wheel openings. It seems like the body is a little shorter than the wheelbase of the chassis. It doesn't look too bad on that side. But on this side I find that the wheels seem to be, at least the rear wheels seem to be too far forward in their openings. Other fit issue that I had that's self-induced would be the windshield rake. I believe that's too vertical. It should be sloped back more, and that is because the inside rear view mirror prevented it from doing so. Had that mirror been mounted back a little farther, I could have got more rake out of it. Didn't realize that until I went to put the windshield on it. That was a problem. So be aware of that if you build one of these. Aside from that, really no complaints. It does build into a pretty nice little car. The only other critique I have is the body casting for this level of kit, being an Ultimate, had a lot of body mold lines, particularly in the corners. Did a lot of sanding on the front and back corners both to get rid of some mold lines, and there were some kind of ridges on top of the fender or arches and across the top of the doors too that you could see. Other than that, no complaints. Typical monogram fit, which is usually very good. I always like doing monogram kits, even if they tended to be a little simplistic in some ways, but they did a great job on this. And it is unfortunate that these things kind of bombed in the marketplace and they only did 2 of them. The Corvette would probably be even slightly better, I would think, because the Corvette's got a little bit more going on as far as body contours and things like that, I think. So if you're looking to do these can be picked up on eBay or at swap meets, you know, for reasonable money, because they're 1/43rd, and domestic US model builders just really aren't into that scale. But these are really great because they don't take up a lot of space. Assembly time, probably about the same as doing a 1/24th or 1/25th scale kit. There are not a lot of pieces, but the assembly and painting of those pieces is time consuming. I enjoyed doing this, but I was also glad when it was done, to be honest. And of course at the end is when you had to put on all the little photo etch details and tiny park lights and things like that. So there it is. That is what Monogram refers to as an Ultimate. A little brief speck of oddity in the history of Monogram, and never been reissued. Probably won't see them again, I'm thinking, because you would have to sublet those photo etch parts out to somebody to have them made. Not something that you can typically just do from a mold, like a plastic parts. So shipping that off to China to get it done probably isn't going to happen. So if you want one of these, you're going to have to search a bit for them, but I think they're out there. And pick it up and enjoy it. It was a great build. I'm glad I did it, but I can kind of see why these weren't that popular. You got to really be into this scale to want to put up with the tiny parts. Hopefully that was helpful. Please check out my other videos for more Ford Motor Company model kits, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.